I have a neck pain. I said, no, you are a pain in the neck. And if you are a pain in the neck, you have a headache, you have a neck pain. So if you are not a pain in the neck, nothing will happen. A young boy in Canada, he was about 17 years old. He wanted to read the whole day and night. So his old grandmother said, don't read too much, you will become mad. So this boy said, I love to read, and why is my grandmother saying that? So he said, what is stress? So he started in 1936, he wrote a letter to the scientists in America, what is stress? And he didn't get a reply. By 1956, he produced a huge data on stress, and he wrote an encyclopedia of stress called, his name was Hans Selye. You have the book called Encyclopedia of Stress by Hans Selye. Don't read that, it's too much for you. But read a smaller book he has written for you, Stress and Distress. Stress is an integral part of life. If you don't have stress, you would wither away and die in no time. Supposing you say, I don't want any stress, I want to sit in the Himalayas and meditate, you will not be there after 1 week. Stress is a must. Stress is a part of life. But distress is bad. Distress is bending abnormally against stress. This is what most of us do. You know, you get a headache in the evening. A lot of people say they get a headache in the evening. Do you know why? They are so tense when they're whole day. And when you are very tense in the day, your neck muscles tense up. And when the neck muscles tense up, your huge muscle that starts in the forehead goes to the neck. It's called occipital frontalis muscle. That becomes tense. So you get headache in the evening. So if somebody comes and tells me, I have a headache, I tell them, no, you don't have a headache, you are a headache. So people say, I have a neck pain. I say, no, you are a pain in the neck. And if you are a pain in the neck, you have a headache, you have a neck pain. So if you are not a pain in the neck, nothing will happen. So what is the end of the day? You must be a very good human being. If you are a good human being, you are a good educated person. How to be a good human being? A, you must work very hard. B, you must love everyone in this world. Love is not, now younger generation should not take the word love for lust, that is the usual meaning. No, love is compassion, C-O-M-P-A-S-S-I-O-N. You just universal compassion, you like everything. Sarva Bhuta Priti in Sanskrit, Sarva Bhuta, all life you love. So it's not just only man, animals, everyone you love. And if you did that, you will have no tension, you will not have headache, you will not have neck ache, and you will be a human being. And that should be the aim of education. Are we trying to do that? I don't think so. We are trying only to have a career for you. You must have a career at the end of the day. You must be a BA and get a teacher's job. You must be a B.Ed and get a teaching job. You must be a doctor and do what doctors do now. They shouldn't be doing what they are doing now. As Rajshekhar Pillai was reminding me that I wrote an article many times ago that when doctors go on strike, society becomes healthier. Because we intervene too much. You know, whenever you go to a doctor, I just want to do something. So if I don't do anything, that's the American thing. Fix it, do it. Actually, if you leave it alone, every disease, mark my words, every disease from common cold to cancer will either cure itself or kill you. One of the two things. And doctor's intervention only hastens that, but doesn't do anything else. No doctor can take you, as the common in newspaper says, he was pulled from the jaws of death by a doctor. It's bullshit. Nobody can pull you anything from the jaws of death. If you're dying, you're going to die. And doctors can only help. And Hippocrates said, our father of modern medicine said, cure rarely, comma, comfort mostly, comma, but console always. You should be able to console. But what do we do today? The reverse. The minute you go there, it says, oh my God, you got a cancer. You may live only for 6 months. How on earth does that doctor know that you will live for 6 months? Because we doctors cannot predict the future of our patients. Nobody knows, nobody can predict the future, including the astrologers. Because the future doesn't exist in quantum physics. Tomorrow is not born. Tomorrow is yet to be born. How do you know what happens tomorrow? You don't know whether tomorrow is going to happen at all. So future predictions are not possible. There's a beautiful study in the British Medical Journal called Doctors Predicting the Unpredictable Future of Their Patients. You go to a doctor and say, doctor, I have a fever. I have a lecture in Somaya College tomorrow. It must come down tomorrow. He said, don't worry. Take these tablets 3 times a day and your fever will go. Doctor doesn't know what your fever is due to. Doctor doesn't know what the tablet does. Doctor doesn't know whether you will go to Somaya's college or not. But he'll predict it so. But that prediction itself is not based on science. It's based on hearsay. Because science can never predict. You see the weather predictions. Have you seen the weather prediction in Bombay yesterday? It's going to rain today. It's raining outside, isn't it? It won't rain. Predicting the unpredictable future is what we all do. So then the education must not just aim at a healthy, this thing, sort of wealthy career. Of course, wealthy career is a must, which will come. A wealthy career will come if you are a good human being, irrespective of where you are and what you are. Because money, you don't have to go after money. Money will come after you when you are a good human being. So you don't have to worry about that. But you must train yourself to have a healthy mind. Remember that. The mind must be trained first to be a healthy mind. And that's why I like, see, for example, I saw you are saying somewhere, knowledge is power. This is what the British said. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power. Wisdom is power. Knowledge is some information. You can get knowledge. Knowledge is second hand. I have so much of knowledge. Goethe said, I now know physiology, philosophy, jurisprudence, even as theology from end to end with labor skin. But here I stand, O fool, with all my lore, no wiser than before. Whether you become wiser or not is a question. Knowledge accumulates, but wisdom comes. Knowledge dwells in heads replete with thoughts of other men. He said, I have read so many books. So many people are very proud of having read so many books. I will say I have never read any books. I have thought. Right from my younger days, I used to think. Anything that comes to my mind, I used to think about it, dissect it, study it, and try to understand and get something comes out of my mind. And wisdom dwells in heads attentive to their own. Knowledge and wisdom, far from being one, have nothing in common, said the poet. Because knowledge is something which comes and goes. Wisdom is something which lingers. And wisdom is your own. And that's your generation. That's why I ask students, ask questions. And I always say, if a teacher in the class cannot answer all the questions, she or he is an evolved teacher. I would love a teacher when once he or she says, I don't know. Because when you come to the stage to say, I don't know, you are a wise man. When you say, I know everything, you are an idiot. Because you know nothing. But wisdom comes and wisdom lingers. And wisdom is very important. I always say, educational institutions must have the dictum, wisdom is power. Not knowledge is not power. Wisdom is power. And wisdom must be something that we must develop. And wisdom comes from your own head, your own mind, and that must be encouraged. And that's exactly the future aim of education.